Hey there, CEOs. Welcome to today's Thursday short of the Wedding Pro CEO podcast. My name is Brandee Gaar, and I'm your host, and I show up here every single week to help you build a profitable wedding business that you actually love, one that does not create overwhelm and burnout, and one that does pay you a full-time salary. On today's show, I want to talk about letting success be your response. So, a few weeks ago, I saw a post by a fellow educator, Terica. I'm sure most of you know her. She's a force in the wedding education space. She's also a wedding planner on the East Coast. And I saw this post and it said exactly that. It said, let success be your response. And I was like, yes, say it again, because I wholeheartedly believe in this so very much. But what's interesting to me is since I saw that post, it's actually come up multiple times in the last couple weeks. I keep bringing it up in different situations with friends, with coworkers, with fellow educators, and most recently with my daughters. Now, I have three girls, almost all teenagers, and you can imagine that this conversation comes up a lot in our house. But I really thought, this has come up so much. I want to bring it to the podcast because I think we can all use a reminder from time to time that you are always going to have people that don't agree with the way that you do something. Or, I mean, you could go as strong as saying the word hater. I hate that word though, because it's always like it gives them too much clout. But let's just use it for sake of we all know what that means, right? You might have some haters. For instance, when I first started my wedding business 16 years ago, which feels crazy, I actually had some people who were not kind to me when I first started in the industry. And by not kind, I mean that they made my job more difficult. I would hear that they were gossiping behind my back, saying that I thought that I was the next best thing since sliced bread. And listen, fine, more power to them, right? That's okay. There's always going to be someone who's not cheering on your journey, who either doesn't understand it or may I be so bold as to say they're afraid of what you might take from their business. And that's called a scarcity mindset. Now, I want you to understand that this is always going to happen. When I started my coaching business, I actually had a fellow educator tell me my teaching was very elementary, that I was only going to be able to teach brand new wedding planners. And I obviously have a passion for middle-preneurs. You guys know that about me at this point, if you listen to my podcast. And I love teaching people who are about 5 years in business and are scaling. Like that's where I want to be. That's what I was passionate about. And I had a fellow educator tell me that I was not going to be able to do that, that I really needed to focus on brand new planners because I was new to the coaching space and that that's where I needed to stay in my lane. And they said it kinder than that, but the message was clear, right? And so here's the thing that I want you to know. In both of those circumstances, I've never looked back. I never want to look back at the people who are telling me I can't do something because what I want to do is I want to prove them wrong. Like I want to show them that success will be my response. I don't need to go back to them and defend all the reasons that they're wrong. I don't need to tell them all the reasons they're wrong. I don't need to spend countless hours looking at their Instagram or looking at what they're selling or looking at what they're doing in the industry to say, "Oh, I'm doing better." I that doesn't matter. I want to stay in my lane and I want to focus forward. There's a couple things that I want to help you to understand this, right? When you're swimming, I think some of you may have heard this before, but like when you're swimming, this is a great example of, you're doing the laps, and you're focused on the end of the pool. You're like, I've just got to get there. And when you're focused on where you're going, you have such direction, such clarity. You're like, I'm in my lane. I don't even know who's around me. I'm not even opening my eyes. I'm just looking straight ahead towards the end of that pool because that's where I'm going. That's my goal, right? But when you take a second and you look to the side or you look to see who's behind you or how close they are, you're distracted. You slow down. Your own journey looks different and it gets muddy because you've now gotten off course. You've looked back. And y'all, I promise you that no one that's in front of you is going to be the one telling you that you can't do it. They're not because they've done it. They know that you can do it, right? It's the people behind you that are like, oh, you're shooting too high. You're shooting too high. You can't do it because they can't. And what I want you to know is that for every second that you spend looking back at what they're doing, you're taking your eyes and your time and your energy away from your own journey. You're taking that away from what you're focused on. There's absolutely no reason that you need to be looking at their Instagram. You just don't. You don't need to be looking at their sales pages. You don't need to understand how much business they have in the industry because, to be perfectly honest, they're never going to tell you the truth anyway. What I want you to do is I want you to focus on your own lane. I want you to focus on your own journey. And I want you to let success be your response to those people. I want you to find someone a few steps ahead of you to push you, to help you to see that it's possible. I want you to find somebody that encourages you, that makes you say, wow, I want to be like that, right? I want you to find your own lane, but I want you to see somebody that's 2 seconds faster than you in the swimming pool. And I want you to say, now I have to beat that. Now I have to beat that. Let them set the carrot. Let them show you what's possible and then beat it. That's exciting. That's encouraging. That's pushing each other to be better. But somebody behind you telling you that you can't do it or that you shouldn't do it, that is not somebody you should be listening to. They haven't walked in the shoes yet. They haven't done it. They don't believe it's possible. Their mindset's not the one I want. I want that mindset. My friend Megan Gillikin, you guys know that we are very good friends. We're both educators in the space. A lot of you listen to her podcast and my podcast. And it's so funny when we chat, I always tell her I'm chasing you. And I think that she finds that endearing. Sometimes I think she gets a little afraid of me, but like afraid of me and like, what do you mean you're chasing me? But we always have fun with it because I always tell her it's like a runner, like a marathon runner. Like when you're training, you want to have somebody who's like 3 seconds faster than you, right? You want to have a running partner that's pushing you to be a little bit better. That's the one that's saying, yeah, come on, like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And you're sharing ideas and you're sharing training tips and you're pushing each other to see which one can cross the finish line faster. I love having Megan be that person for me because I love seeing what she's doing. She's got such an incredible podcast, such an incredible platform for wedding planners. She is amazing. And I love getting to just like see her fire and it makes me see that it's possible. And I want to chase it even harder, right? I'm constantly like, I am chasing your download numbers. I am chasing you. I'm chasing you. And I love it because we have a good time together. Like we share ideas and we encourage each other to be even better for our communities. We have very, very different communities. I'm able to share ideas with her. She's able to share ideas with me and I love it. But somebody that's behind me, an educator that has a scarcity mindset, that's more afraid of what I'm going to take from their piece of the pie is absolutely not somebody I want to spend 1 second on. There's no time in my day to go look at their Instagram account, to go look at what they're doing, to talk to people about what they're doing. There's no time in my day because I have precious minutes. And I only want those precious minutes to be spent on my own success. And then I don't need to go back and say, hey, here's why you were wrong about what I can and can't do. I'm able to just let success be my response. And so I want to encourage you guys for this same thing. If there's somebody in your market, if there's somebody even in your personal life that's saying, hey, you're not cut out for this, or hey, this isn't right, or you shouldn't be doing this, or that's not possible. I just want to encourage you and say, it's 100% possible. I want you to get into a community of people that are going to say, it's not only possible, it's so attainable. And here's how you do it. I want you to get into a community of people that are going to drive you to be even better. People that are one step ahead of you, that you can just pull you along and say, yes, girl, come on. We're waiting for you at the finish line. Like that's what I want for you so bad. If you haven't already joined us in the Wedding Pro CEO community, that's my free community on Facebook, you guys come over there. We absolutely love encouraging each other. We have no time for the people that are hating in the background. We only want to bring each other across the finish line. We only want to pull each other up. We want to build each other up. We are here to change this industry and to make it an industry that is done with overwhelm and burnout and that is so ready to help each other build these successful businesses. And to say, success is our response. So if you haven't already joined us in the Wedding Pro CEO community, it's my free private Facebook community. Come on over. Come over. The link is in the show notes below. I'd love to see you there. Come over and tell us, like, what's one thing you're working on right now that you want us to drive you over that finish line, that you want us to say, yes, girl, you got this. Like, you can so do it. I want to know. And you guys, thank you so much for being here every single week. I cannot wait to see your success and to let it be your response to anybody who's ever told you that you can't do it. Thank you so much, you guys. I'll see you next time.